हेलो व्हाट्सअप गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू न्यू वीडियो। फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हो आप सब? फ्रेंड्स, आज का टॉपिक भी बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है। आज का टॉपिक का नाम है फ्रेंड्स रास्पबेरी पाई। फ्रेंड्स, ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक है और बहुत ही अलग ही टॉपिक है फ्रेंड्स, और बहुत ही मजेदार टॉपिक है। आज रास्पबेरी पाई के फुल इंट्रोडक्शन होने वाला है इस वीडियो में, और फुल इंफॉर्मेशन मैं आपको देने वाला हूँ आज की वीडियो में। आज की वीडियो आपको अच्छा लगे तो इस वीडियो को लाइक करना, और आप मेरे चैनल पर नए हो, आप मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर देना फ्रेंड्स। चलिए फ्रेंड्स, आज का वीडियो स्टार्ट करते हैं। So friends, what is Raspberry Pi? The Raspberry Pi is a series of a small single-board computers developed in the United Kingdom by the Raspberry Pi Foundation to promote the teaching of basic computer science in schools in developing countries. The original model became far more popular than anticipated, selling outside of its target market for uses such as robotics. Over 5 million Raspberry Pis have been sold before February 2015, making it the best-selling British computer. By November 2016, they had sold 11 million units. That's amazing, friends. This is the sale chart Raspberry Pi. You see the sale chart, friends. Friends, this is the model, friends. Raspberry Pi 3, model B. You see the image, friends. Okay friends, the timeline. The first generation Raspberry Pi 1 Model B was released in February 2012. It was followed by a simpler and inexpensive model A. In 2014, the Foundation released a board with an improved design in Raspberry Pi 1 Model B Plus. These boards are approximately credit card size and represent the standard mainline form factor. Improved A plus and B plus models were released a year later. A computer module was released in April 2014 for embedded applications, and a Raspberry Pi Zero with smaller size and reduced input-output and general-purpose input-output capabilities was released in November 2015 for $85 USD. That's amazing. Okay, the timeline is continuing, friends. The Raspberry Pi 2, which added more RAM, was released in February 2015. Raspberry Pi 3 Model B, released in February 2016, is bundled with onboard Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and USB board capabilities. As of January 2017, Raspberry Pi 3 Model B is the newest mainline Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi boards are priced between $5 to 35. As of 28 February 2017, the Raspberry Pi Zero W was launched, which is identical to the Raspberry Pi Zero but has the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth functionality of the Raspberry Pi 3 for $10. Features: all models features a Broadcom system as a chip (SoC), which includes an ARM-compatible central processing unit (CPU) and an on-chip graphic processing unit (GPU), a video core 4. CPU speed ranges from 700 MHz to 1 GHz for the Pi 3, and on-board memory range from 256 MB to 1 GB RAM. That's amazing. And secure digital SD cards are used to store the operating system and program memory in either the SDHC or micro SDHC sizes. Then features is continued. Most boards have between 1 and 4 USB slots, HDMI, composite video output, and a 3.5 mm phono jack for audio. Lower level output is provided by a number of GPIO pins which support common protocols like I2C. The B models have an 8P8C Ethernet port, and Pi 3 and Pi 0W have on-board Wi-Fi 80.11n and Bluetooth. These are the features, friends, and the option is operating system. The foundation provides Raspbian, a Debian-based Linux distribution for download, as well as the third-party Ubuntu, Windows 10 IoT Core, RISC OS, and specialized Media Center distributions. It promotes Python and Scratch as the main programming language, with support for many other languages. The default firmware is also closed source, while an unofficial open source is available. This is the hardware. Input output RAM is also connected with CPU GPU. CPU GPU is connected with the USB hub. USB hub is connected with the internet Ethernet, sorry friends, Ethernet, and 2x USB is also connected with USB hub. This whole chart is hardware. What is hardware, friends? This block diagram depicts model A, B, A plus, and B plus. Model A, A plus, and the Pi 0 lack the Ethernet and USB hub components. The Ethernet adapter is internally connected to an additional USB port. In model A and A plus and the Pi 0, the USB port is connected directly to the system on a chip SoC. On the Pi 1 model, B plus and later models the USB Ethernet chip contains a 5-point USB hub, of which 4 ports are available, while the Pi 1 model B only provides 2. On the Pi 0 friend, the USB port is also connected directly to the SoC, but it uses a micro USB OTG port. What is processor? The Broadcom BCM2835 SoC used is the first generation. Raspberry Pi is somewhat equivalent to the chip used in first modern generation smartphones. Its CPU is an older ARM V6 architecture, uh, which includes a 700 HMS HMZ ARM 1176J ZF as processor, video core 4 graphics processing unit GPU, and RAM. It has a level 1 cache for 16 KB and level 2 cache of 128 KB. The level 2 cache is used primarily by the GPU, and the SoC is stacked underneath the RAM chip, so only its edge is available. The Raspberry Pi 2 is used a Broadcom BCM2836 SoC with a 900 MHz 32-byte quad-core ARM Cortex A7 processor with 256 KB and share L2 cache. The Raspberry Pi 3 uses a Broadcom BCM2837 SoC with a 1.2 GHz 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex A53 processor with a 512 KB share L2 cache. That's amazing, friends. This is the performance. The Raspberry Pi 3 with a quad-core Cortex A53 processor is described as 10 times the performance of Raspberry Pi 1. This was suggested to be highly dependent upon task threading and instruction set use. Benchmark shows the Raspberry Pi 3 to be approximately 80% faster than the Raspberry Pi 2 is parallelized tasks. Raspberry Pi 2 includes a quad-core Cortex A7 CPU running at 900 GHz and 1 GB RAM. It is described as 4 to 6 times more powerful than its processor. The GPU is identical to the original. Its parallelized benchmarks the Raspberry Pi 2 could be up to 14 times faster than a Raspberry Pi 1 model B+. This is a RAM, friends. The Raspberry Pi 2 and Raspberry Pi 3 have 1 GB of RAM. The Raspberry Pi 0 and 0W have 512 MB of RAM. Networking. The Model A and A plus and Pi Zero have no Ethernet circuitry and are commonly connected to a network using an external user supplied USB Ethernet or Wi-Fi adapter. On a Model B and B plus, the Ethernet port is provided by a built-in USB Ethernet adapter using the SMSE LAN 9514 chip. The Raspberry Pi 3 and Raspberry Pi Zero W wireless are equipped with 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi 802.11n. 150 Mbps speed is there, and Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth 4.1 based on Broadcom BCM43438 full max chip with no official support for monitor but implemented through unofficial firmware patching, and Pi 3 also has a 10 out of 100 Ethernet port. That's amazing. Peripherals. The Raspberry Pi may be operated with any generic USB computer keyboard and mouse. It may also be used in USB storage, USB to MIDI converters, and virtually any other device components with USB capabilities. Other peripherals can be attached through the various pins, connectors, and on the surface of the Raspberry Pi. Video capabilities. The video controller can emit standard modern TV resolutions such as HD and Full HD, and higher or lower monitor resolutions and older standard CRT TV's resolutions. As shipped, it can emit this. This is the friends all resolutions 640 into 350, 640 into 480, 1920 into 1200 WUXG. These all are આપણે, these all are the resolutions of the video. This is the all summary friends. All the models are in the row friends, and all models have difference. Raspberry Pi 1 Model A, Raspberry Pi 1 Model A plus, Raspberry Pi 1 Model B, Raspberry Pi 1 Model B plus, Raspberry Pi 2 Model B, Raspberry Pi 3 Model B, Raspberry Pi Zero. This is all difference friends. You see the chart. These all are operating systems. Ubuntu Mate, Snappy Ubuntu Core, Windows 10 IoT Core, OSMC, LibreClick, Pinet, RISC-OS, and Weather Station. These are the operating systems. Okay, the Raspberry Pi Foundation recommends the use of Raspbian, a Debian-based Linux operating system. Other third-party operating systems available via official website include Ubuntu Mate, Snappy Ubuntu Core, Windows 10 IoT Core, RISC-OS, and specialized distributions of a Kodi Media Center and the classroom management. Linux-based operating systems: Android Things, Arch Linux, OpenSUSE, Raspberry Pi, Fedora Remix, Fedora, Gentoo Linux, CentOS Raspberry Pi, Kali Linux, Slackware ARM, Puppy Linux. These are the Linux-based operating systems. Other operating systems: RISC OS Pi, FreeBSD, NetBSD, Windows 10 IoT Core, Haiku, Helen OS. This is community. The Raspberry Pi community was described by Jamie Airy for Flow Software Company ADA Core as one of the most exciting parts of the project. Community bloggers Russell Davis said that the community strength allows the foundation to concentrate on documentation and teaching. The community developed a franchise around the platform they call the Magpie, which in 2015 was handed over to the Raspberry Pi Foundation by its volunteers to be continued in-house. A series of community Raspberry Jam events have been held across the UK and around the world. The Magpie. What is Magpie? The Magpie is a free fanzine for users of the Raspberry Pi computer. It was created by a community as an unofficial volunteer-produced Raspberry Pi publication, and in 2015 was handed over to Raspberry Pi Foundation to be run in-house as the official Raspberry Pi magazine. It was launched in May 2012 and contained news, projects, and tutorials. History. In 2016, in 2006, early concepts of Raspberry Pi was based on Atmel ATmega 644 microcontroller. Its schematics and PCB layout are publicly available. Foundation trustee Eben Upton assembled a group of teachers, academics, and computer enthusiasts to devise a computer to inspire children. The computer is inspired by Acorn's BBC Micro of 1981. A Model A, Model B, and Model B Plus names are differences to the original models of the British educational BBC microcomputer developed by Acorn Computers. The first ARM protocol version of the computer was mounted in a package the same sizes as a USB memory stick. It had a USB port on one and an HDMI port on other. The foundation's goal was to offer two versions, priced at $25 and $35. They started accepting orders for the higher prices Model B on 29 February 2012. The lower cost Model A on 4th February 2013 and even lower cost $20 A plus on 10th November 2014. On 26th November 2015, the cheapest Raspberry Pi yet, the Raspberry Pi Zero, was launched at $5 and Euro 4. Raspberry Pi Zero. This is the diagram, friends. This is Raspberry Pi Model A diagram. This is Raspberry Pi Model P. You see all images, friends. This is Raspberry Pi Model B Plus and 2B. This is the image. This is Raspberry Pi Model 3B. You see the image, friends. Accessories. Camera. On 14th May 2013, the Foundation and the distributors RS Components and Premier Fernal Element 14 launched the Raspberry Pi camera board alongside a firmware update to accommodate it. The camera board is shipped with a flexible flat cable that plugs into a CSI connector, which is located between the Ethernet and HDMI ports. And gut board. A Raspberry Pi Foundation sectionized device designed for educational purposes that expands the Raspberry Pi's GPIO pins to allow interface with and control of LEDs, switches, analog signals, sensors, and other devices. It also includes an optional Arduino-compatible controller to interface with the Pi. Infrared camera. In October 2013, the Foundation announced that they would begin producing a camera module without an infrared filter, called the Pi NOIR HAT hardware attached on top. Expansion board. Together with the Model B Plus, inspired by the Arduino Shield boards, the interface for HAT boards was devised by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Other development boards: ASUS Tinkerboard, Beagle Bones, Banana Pi, Orange Pi, or Odroid. This is just an example, friends. ASUS Tinkerboard. Okay, ASUS Tinkerboards. This is the image, friends. Raspberry Pi versus Tinkerboard. You see the difference, friends. This whole chart basis difference between friends Raspberry Pi and Tinkerboard. You see the difference. Okay, friends. That's all for my video friends. Okay friends, do you like my video? Then please like my video friends, and friends, please subscribe my channel for new updates. Okay friends, bye bye.